Mild enemy and boss spoilers in this video. If you want, you can just listen to the audio, which still is the review, and just not look at it. But you've been warned. Remember the good old days on the PS4? When we were all playing Dark Souls, but you had a gun? Because we can do that on PC now.
What?
Yeah, watch out, he does that. What's up, guys? It's me, Anime Heartthrob Liddy. If there's one thing you guys all know about me, it's that I like Soulsborne games. I've played just about every Soulsborne game in existence and have liked every single, not you, release of it, and have played all those releases rather faithfully. Even then, I'm pretty sure I have a high standard for these games. Bloodborne is probably one of my favorite games of all time, and I still would give it about an 8. On the flip side, I really couldn't find any replay value in Dark Souls 3, so I gave it a 3. Hopefully that paints some context around this review, and I'm just gonna get started now. While I started off saying that Remnant is basically Dark Souls with guns, it's a bit more complex than that. I'm sure if you look at the gameplay, you can tell what I mean. If anything, this is more like The Division and Dark Souls had a really cool baby. You have all the strong shooting mechanics and movement options from The Division, such as a sick anime crouching slide, and you stack that on top of a Lovecraftian Dark Souls-esque apocalyptic world, with all the random obtuse ways of giving you lore and story, such as item descriptions and loading screens. One of the more interesting features this game brings to the table is procedural generation throughout the entire game. It's kind of like Chalice dungeons, except less stupid because the tile sets are actually kind of different in the way they work, the enemies that spawn in them, and the way they're like physically shaped. The generation is to the point that certain dungeons might not exist in a playthrough you made, but might exist in another playthrough. This advocates a lot of replay value because when I play it again, I'll be finding new different shit all the time. The generation is actually good and affects everything from like bosses in the overworld, enemy placement and loot, what secrets, what quests you can find. I've remade my first level about 3 times and have consistently found new shit that scared me. Admittedly, I can see how some people would have an issue with this. There's no guaranteed loot drops anymore. If you Google a specific weapon, there's no guarantee that you'll find it. Certain gear might just not spawn in your world, and then you'd have to remake the entire campaign just to find it, or co-op with a friend, and not everyone has that luxury. I think they're making a mode to address this called Adventure Mode, where you just remake certain world instances, but other than that, yeah, you're probably shit out of luck until then. While I get that it could be a con to some people, to me, I think this is a perk, because it gives me, as I said, incentive to play it again, and I enjoy games that give me that. On the topic of combat is really fun. It's basically The Division, but then you've got active abilities for landing shots consistently. The weapon modifications, which are basically the abilities, pave way for all kinds of builds. You can be a purely offensive mage, you can focus your damage on your guns, you can run support by running an area bubble force field, and then also running a heal. Focus mainly on procs by using primarily elemental shots. Become a tank by wearing a bunch of rock. Beast Tamer, and summon a bunch of little midgets. And also some skeletons. This isn't even all the weapon modifications, these are just the ones I remember using. The customization doesn't end there either, because each of these weapon modifications play in tandem with traits. Traits are basically things you get for leveling up that increase your base abilities. For example, there's a trait that increases your health, there's one for stamina. It's basically souls leveling. You can find certain traits and things for beating certain bosses, and I'm not sure on this yet, but given the procedural generation, there might be traits you don't even get on the first playthrough. In summary, on the surface level, this just looks like another third-person shooter. But with its extra RPG mechanics and the fantasy settings, this game really kind of stands out among the usual third-person shooters I'm used to. Also, it's hard. So while in general when I play third-person shooters, there's a lot of ooga booga, me kill, get to the checkpoint, here's a war! This one kind of feels a little more intricate in that if I start overstepping my boundaries, I'm pretty much guaranteed to die. Also, it's a co-op game that's $40. That's a steal. 6 out of 10. Hey guys, if you enjoyed stuff like this, please check out, you can subscribe. Oh fuck, wow, I fucked up that line, but we're gonna keep going. Subscribe. Just check out my channel. There's a bunch of weeb shit usually, but sometimes I talk about games. Donate if you want more videos like this, because I'm broke as hell and trying to pay for college and trying to get a job, etc. This is the part where I beg, by the way. I'm done begging though. Goodbye.